Wow, who am I? Where do I start? I didn't know I loved to write until after college, and becoming an author was really, it was really about needing to get it out, right? You have a lot of things in your head, things you've learned, things have gathered over the years, and that really kind of came from what I needed. I had a very kind of clear path on what I wanted, and I knew what I didn't know. And so I set out on a path to discover that. And as I started to find the answers, a theme really just kind of evolved, and it was a need to share that with other people that may have been where I was. I wrote Getting Started Right. Man, it was one of the most challenging times in my life, and it was the realization that I had been chasing my dreams for years, but I had been doing things backwards. I had been doing things wrong, and so there was a poem that I learned, "If" by Richard Kipling, when I was pledging, and the poem stuck with me for years, but it was something about that particular period in time in life that it just really spoke to me in a new way, and I had to share it. And I think in the process of writing that book and ultimately publishing it, I realized, man, I could really do more of this. So I know that there will be more books. Obviously, I have several short ebooks on my website, but my love for writing just kind of came from a place of needing to share the plethora of things that were going on in my head that I thought that other people could ultimately take advantage of. Um, it's interesting. I remember being in college and saying that I didn't want to be a teacher. I didn't want to be an educator. That was the furthest thing from my plan. And the irony was everything that I ended up doing had teaching in it. I've always been in kind of leadership roles where I had to be a director, or I had to be a coach for this or something, and I'm always teaching. And when I got out of college and kind of moved back to Chicago, and it was time to get out there and work, and I ended up with an opportunity in education, and I built a music program from scratch. And it was the realization, not only was it teaching music, right, because I love music, but it was the realization that as a good teacher, as an engaged teacher, you really make a big impact in the lives of students and even sometimes their parents. And that feeling is addictive. I mean, it's amazing to me, the things that you will do genuinely to get that feeling again. And it just kind of carried over. I went down my academic path, and I realized that I wanted to teach and to coach and to help other people on their journey, and really to kind of keep them from some of the pitfalls that I had to fall into. One of the greatest experiences of my life was my time with the Social Leadership Academy and building Profit Pathway, and working with Mark and those guys, because when I became an entrepreneurial coach and I was able to see what I had done wrong in entrepreneurship, and where my business savvy was good, but these few things, these few easy things, were keeping me from the success that I wanted. And to get other people out of that space, priceless. Music is everything. As a music listener, as a consumer, I'm so moody. Like if you looked at my iTunes, you'd find some of everything. I mean, I'm not a big country listener, but I've got country in my iTunes. I have folk music in my iTunes. I've got jazz and classical and R&B, and I mean just everything. And it depends on how I feel. It depends on what I need. I mean, music gives in that kind of way. And it was interesting, you know, I knew that I wanted to be an artist. I've always known that. But I thought for a season of my life, I had to be a gospel artist. And then there was a period where I didn't want to do that. And then I went through this discovery process. And, you know, throughout this whole time, learning to build business and learning to do all these other things, coaching, writing, everything else that I guess, you know, is a part of who I am. It all comes back to my love for music, wanting to be around artists, wanting to experience live music, wanting to, you know, help other artists chase their dreams and be able to share their music and their love for music. And man, I don't know. It's just something that I know that I had to do. And so, I mean, I've got a single out, Just Believe. It encouraged me throughout my process, and I'm working on a project right now. You know, when I lost my dad, a lot of music came from that experience, and I'm working on a project that he's going to be a part of, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with the world. Well, St. Augustine said that, you know, life is a book, and those that don't travel only read one page. And I've never wanted to read one page. I've always wanted to get up and go. I've always wanted to see the world. I've always wanted to move around. I mean, I've lived in 3 or 4 different cities, and I'm not even 40. So, you know, I think that my love for just traveling the world and seeing God's creation is a big part of what I want to do. One of the things that I do with people is forward, and that's, you know, family, occupation, recreation, and dream. And when I became really, really clear about what my dream was, it was always fun to say. And what it is, I want to travel the world, write books, make music. You know, and I want to help people with all of that, right? And I think that an underlying current in everything that I want to do, both traveling, right? There's a lot of people who can't do it or don't know how to do it, and I found ways to help them do that. Music, right? The message in the music is inspirational in nature, and I love message music, not stuff that's about nothing. And writing, and what I write about is, you know, how to help people with things that, you know, I've been able to figure out how to do. So I want to travel the world, write books, and make music. So I hope that those things help people. So, you know, as I chase after living the life that I've always dreamed about, which is those 3 things, that I can help other people do the exact same thing. Live the life that you've always dreamed about.